it's a really interesting subject. I think a subject that really came to light for lots of people during the Paralympics and the last leg with you and Adam and the show that you did particularly. And you must be quite satisfying in a way that actually it's getting a lot more profile now and people are willing to talk about and understand how we need to be able to communicate better.
Yeah, I think on the last leg, certainly during the Paralympics, one of the big successes I felt from the show was that, you know, we got to talk about disability in a way that's never really been spoken about before and kind of break down like a bit of a barrier, because people you can be awkward. I'd be awkward, personally. Like, sometimes, you know, I don't think that awkwardness around disability necessarily is born out of ignorance. I think actually it's the opposite. I think sometimes you're awkward because you want to make someone feel comfortable, and that's a big reason why I did this campaign. Because, yeah, I don't want people to feel bad. I like it because it's not preachy or anything like that. We're trying to be a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and, yeah, there can be awkward situations around disability. It's just the way of the world.
People are terrified about saying the wrong thing, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. You know, I meet, you know, obviously, given the circles that I work in now, I meet loads of disabled people. You can't move from all sorts. And it's like, I'll meet somebody, you know, I've got hand disabilities myself. If I meet somebody missing a hand, I'll do a double take. It's genuine, it's human curiosity. And I don't think that's any reason to feel bad or anything like that. I think that almost it's what you do after. There's always that initial kind of thing. I have it myself when people go to shake my hand. I've had all manner of stuff, you know. People go and kind of pull my finger, which is weird. People don't know what to do.
Well, is there a set protocol towards it, though, Alex?
I don't think there is. I wouldn't even like to start thinking of a set protocol, because then it becomes even more awkward, because then you're acting in a set way around someone. You're thinking constantly, and then it doesn't become natural. So I don't think there is a set way at all. I just think it's about, there can be an awkwardness. Obviously, when you see something new, maybe for the first time, your genuine human curiosity will be like, oh, that's a bit different. I do a double take myself. But then there's kind of, you've got that situation afterwards where you can either keep it awkward or just act like as you would in any other situation, and I think that's kind of what the adverts are trying to get across, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is the message? Is it to say, if you feel awkward, would you rather someone said to you, do you know what, I feel a little bit uncomfortable and it's like the elephant in the room and I don't know how to approach it? Would you rather someone was honest, or would you rather they just put it to one side and got on with the conversation?
I wouldn't like to be referred to as an elephant in this situation, but it's...
Clearly, yeah, I would refer to you.
But no, I'd like, you know, if someone says to me, like, oh, what do I do, you know, which hand do you prefer to be shaken or something like that, I don't mind that, because then you're back on that level. You're on the level, you're on the honest level. That person's told you what they're thinking.
So honesty is the...
without being offensive, obviously. If you'd be like, oh, what's going on here? You'd be like, oh, what's going on with you?
There's something that we do, though, don't we? We've got children, but something you do with children, and your kids will be very inquisitive and will stare. And one of the first things you do is don't stare, don't stare. And actually, sometimes it's worth explaining to your child, why don't we go and say hello, and let you explain exactly what the situation is.
And also, I don't mind that at all. You know, if somebody came up to me and they were asking questions, I wouldn't mind it at all. And also as well, probably that child, if they do stare once, and they've seen it once, and the next time they might not stare as much, because they're... And that's the same with anybody, actually. And I feel that the Paralympics, we talk about this Paralympic legacy, you know, what was born out of 2012, and there are a lot of school children who went to watch that, and they'll have seen people missing limbs or something like that for the very first time, and they'll have asked all their questions, and now as they get older, perhaps, they know the answers already, and almost they're kind of desensitised to it. So I think that's when, probably in years to come, we'll see like this true Paralympic legacy of attitudes towards disability.
Which would be really refreshing, wouldn't it? Lovely to talk to you.
Great to see you, Alex. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks very much, Alex.